Although I'm the daughter of a wealthy merchant, I caught the favor of the young Marquis of Dian. After 2 years of marriage, I'm now successfully 6 months pregnant Zan. Once I give birth to a son, I'll secure my position as the Marchioness. Just as I took the pregnancy-stabilizing medicine my husband brought me, a line of text appeared above my head. It is starting. The male lead is finally poisoning the female supporting character. For the female lead, the male lead really schemed so hard. Yeah, this was specially sought out by the male lead. It won't harm the fetus, it'll only make the pregnant woman die from massive bleeding during delivery. Am I the only one who finds the male lead such a turnoff? Poisoning his lawful wife Zan. Any man with a shred of morals wouldn't do something like this, right? What do you know? The female supporting character is just a merchant's daughter. Her son getting to become the heir of the Marquis household. Zan dying for that is worth it. Looking at the inexplicable words before me, I froze on the spot, not daring to bring the medicine in my hand to my lips anymore. I've always been healthy and strong, and the doctor also said my pregnancy was stable. Yet my husband was anxious and worried I'd have a difficult delivery, so he specially sought out this pregnancy-stabilizing medicine. He said drinking it continuously for a month would ensure a smooth delivery, and the baby would be healthy and strong too. My husband Pei Xiaoheng saw me pause and affectionately tapped my nose. What is wrong? You're about to become a mother. And you're still afraid of bitter medicine. Since our marriage, he has been loving and devoted to me, never taking any bedmaids or concubines. I really can't believe he would poison me, but I don't dare bet my life on it, so I decided to investigate thoroughly first. I didn't dare show any unusual expression, just steadied my nerves and acted coquettish in my usual tone. It is still hot, I'll drink it later. Seeing me put down the medicine bowl, Pei Xiaoheng urged reluctantly. You have to drink it while it is hot for it to be effective. Be good, endure it for the sake of our child. Looking at his eager expression, I became even more convinced there was something strange about this medicine. I complained affectedly, this medicine is so hot my mouth will get blisters. Now that you have a child you don't care about me anymore. Pei Xiaoheng hurried to soothe me. How unjust. Your husband only cares this much because this is our child. He stepped forward, took my hand and said gently, if you want to wait then wait. Your husband will stay here and keep you company while you drink it. He was the very picture of tenderness, attentiveness, and thoughtful care. If all of this was an act, it would be truly terrifying. I said understandingly, husband, go tend to your business. I'll drink it once it cools down, don't stay in my room during the day all the time. Or mother-in-law will say I'm being improper again if she finds out. That is right. Mother-in-law had always looked down on me because of my status as a merchant's daughter. The old Marquis died early, and mother-in-law single-handedly upheld the Marquis manor's prestige. She disciplined me strictly, fearing my stench of money would tarnish the Marquis manor's prestige. Fortunately, my husband cherished me, and I was willing to use my dowry to support the manor. So mother-in-law finally regarded me with some favor. Pei Xiaoheng didn't want to leave. You have her precious grandchild in your belly. She can't wait for me to spend more time with you. It seemed he wouldn't be at ease until he watched me finish the medicine with his own eyes. But how could I drink this obviously problematic medicine? Just as I was thinking of a way to deal with this, a servant's voice came from the door. My lord, Master Shen is looking for you to meet at Qinhua Tower. He says there is an important matter to discuss. I felt relieved and seized the opportunity to say, husband, go quickly. For the child's health I'll be sure to drink the pregnancy-stabilizing medicine. Pei Xiaoheng was still a bit hesitant, but hearing me say this, he left without worry. As soon as he left, I dropped my smile and carefully read the continuously updating text. I learned that these texts were called Danmu, and we were living inside a story. I was just a supporting female character, one who delivered money and a child to the male lead. The male lead was the young Marquis Pei Xiaoheng, and the female lead was Shen Rao, daughter of a minor 6th rank official. Although the male and female lead's love was stronger than gold. The female lead was born with a heart condition and couldn't bear children. The old madam threatened suicide. refusing to approve their marriage on the grounds that the Marquise's household couldn't be without an heir. Under his mother and sister's instigation, for easier manipulation, the male lead married powerless me, just waiting for me to give birth to a son so they could dispose of the mother and keep the child. Less than 2 months after my death, the male lead used the pretext of needing someone to care for the child to marry the female lead as his second wife, and seized all my dowry. In the end, the male and female leads lived sweetly and happily. With my dowry, everyone in the Marquise's household lived in wealth and comfort. Only I lost my life, and my parents' hair turned completely white early on from the grief of losing their daughter. Seeing this, I felt chills all over my body, unable to believe the people of the Marquise's household could be so vicious. I can't just blindly trust what the comments say. I need to see for myself whether my husband is man or monster. I picked up the medicine bowl and poured it into the flower pot on the windowsill. Seeing this, my maid Hongshu exclaimed in shock, "Madam." I raised my hand to cut her off, change clothes and come out with me. If what the comment said is true, the Lord Shen the servant just mentioned is the female lead, Shen Ru. Arriving at Chunhua Pavilion, following the comment's hints, I booked the room next to their secret rendezvous. Pressing against the wall, I could just hear the sounds from inside. "Ru, stop crying. Your tears are breaking my heart." This voice couldn't be more familiar than it was my husband, Pei Xiaoheng. What the comment said was actually all true. A soft, delicate female voice tinged with sobs came through. "You already have a child with her, and you won't even let me cry for a bit. This is a good thing, the child she is carrying is ours, and once it is born, it will only recognize you as its mother." What he got was a petulant hemp. Pei Xiaoheng continued to soothe her. "Didn't we agree on this? Just bear with it a little longer. Easy for you to say, enjoying the blessings of having 2 women, and you still claim it is for my sake." Ruer's words are carving out my heart. If it weren't for our future, why would I need to endure that vulgar merchant's daughter? Every time I share a bed with her, I feel nothing but disgust. What blessings of having 2 women, really? Won't you fall in love with her over time, after all? She is beautiful and can bear your children. How could I? You're the only one for me in this life. When I learned she was pregnant, the first thing I thought was that I finally don't have to get close to her anymore. My heart for you is true. Heaven and earth can bear witness. Ruer, do you understand? The bullet comments were also scrolling wildly. The female lead loves him so much. She wore a green hat for 2 years for the male lead. The male lead had no choice but to have a kid with another woman, so angsty yet so sweet. Hurry up and have the supporting actress give birth and leave the story. We want to see the sweet daily life of the leads raising kids after marriage. They seem to only see the scenes with the male and female leads. They can't see me, the supporting actress, eavesdropping. Listening to the increasingly intimate sounds from next door, I surprisingly wasn't particularly sad. I won't shed a single tear for a man. I only lose sleep over money. Facts prove that illusory love is unreliable. Only money and power can keep me safe for a lifetime. What is this thing called love in the world? It just makes people sick and want to puke. Hongxiu also recognized the young master's voice from next door. She looked at me with a pale face, not knowing what to do. I left the private room without showing any emotion and took Hongxiu back to my parents' home. Yao Manor. I dismissed the servants and told my parents everything that happened today. My father was the richest merchant in the capital, with numerous businesses. Though wealthy beyond measure, his status was low. Seeing that the Marquise's household had taken a liking to me, he thought attaching ourselves to them could elevate the Yao family's class. Back then, he prepared a genuine 10-mile-long dowry for me, making all the noble ladies green with envy. As a pregnant woman, I could hardly protect myself in this wolf's den and desperately needed my parents' help. My father slammed the table in anger. What a filthy Marquise household. We sincerely married off our daughter, and the money we've given them these 2 years equals the Marquise's lifetime salary. They pick up the bowl to eat meat then put it down to curse us. And now they want to harm my own daughter's life. Zan, their conscience must have been eaten by dogs. My mother sobbed while wiping her tears and pounded her fists on my father. You social climbing old fool. I told you back then it wouldn't work, Zan. What if the Marquise's household bullied Yawer, and we couldn't help her? But you insisted on marrying Yawer off. My poor Yawer has such a bitter fate. Father knew he was in the wrong and tried to justify himself. Wasn't I doing it for our daughter's good too? Back then that payboy acted so devoted, saying he'd marry no one but Yawer. How could I have known he had such ill intentions and wolfish ambitions? Mother wiped her tears. So what do we do now? Let's just get a divorce and be done with it. Even if my Yawer stays home unmarried for the rest of her life, we can afford to support her. Seeing that both of them had calmed down somewhat, I spoke up. Since they're scheming against me deliberately, they'll never allow me to divorce. I'm afraid this won't end until one of us is dead. After hearing this, Mother started sobbing again. Father knew I always had ideas. Seeing my calm expression, he asked, "Does Yawer have any plan?" I told them the thoughts I had along the way, and the two were shocked beyond belief after hearing it. My mother covered her mouth with a handkerchief and said in a low voice, This is too treasonous." My father stood up and paced back and forth in the room. After thinking for a while, he spoke as if he'd made up his mind. "All right, let's do it." In the following time, Father and I made detailed preparations for these plans. My mother went from being terrified at first to becoming ruthless later, even able to propose even more wicked schemes against Pei Xiaoheng. Leaving the Yao residence, I had one more maid by my side than when I came, Zane Zissou, who was skilled in pharmacology. Although Heng Xiu was good at martial arts, she couldn't guard against poisoning. Zissou just filled this gap. That night, I felt dizzy and weak all over. Several doctors were called but couldn't find anything wrong, only saying I should rest quietly and not overexert myself. I lay on the bed and asked weakly, "Husband, my pregnancy has been fine all along. I started feeling unwell right after drinking the pregnancy stabilizing medicine today. How about I just stop taking it?" Pei Xiaoheng instinctively retorted. "No. This prescription for the pregnancy stabilizing medicine was issued by the Imperial Medical Bureau. All the consorts in the palace use this prescription to stabilize their pregnancies, and they're all fine. How could there be a problem when it comes to you?" After saying that, he suddenly realized his tone wasn't kind and comforted me. "Don't worry. Didn't the doctor say there is nothing wrong? You're probably just tired, just rest well recently. But you still need to keep drinking the pregnancy stabilizing medicine." I was so aggrieved that tears kept falling, but I really feel awful. My head is spinning so badly. Pei Xiaoheng sat by the bed, took my hand and soothed me. My mother said giving birth always involves some suffering. Just bear with it for a while, maybe the symptoms will ease if you keep drinking it. Be good. Let's just drink it for 1 month. If there is no improvement after a month, we'll stop drinking it. Okay. Bullet comments appeared at the right moment. No matter how much the female supporting character cries, the male lead won't feel sorry for her. What a good scheme from the male lead. 1 month. Enough dosage for a difficult birth. The female supporting character is so pitiful, she is going to die after giving birth. Very well. I gave you one last chance and you didn't cherish it. Don't blame me for what happens next. A ruthless glint flashed and vanished from my eyes. I hugged Pei Xiaoheng's arm and acted coquettishly. "Then will you spend more time with me from now on?" Pei Xiaoheng suppressed his impatience and perfunctorily said okay. How blind was I before to not see his dislike for me? Apart from not taking concubines, he showed no other signs of loving his wife. I didn't mind, ignored his impatience, and started pushing my luck. Then from now on, husband has to accompany me every day when I take medicine, and also stay with me until I finish dinner before leaving. Okay. Hearing that I wanted him to accompany me while taking medicine, Pei Xiaoheng had no objections and agreed quite readily. After he left, Mama Lu came over and said the old madam wanted to see me. Mama Lu was the most favored senior servant by the old madam's side, always acting high and mighty in front of me. Hong Shu pouted. She is probably out of silver again and coming to ask Miss for more. Ever since learning about Pei Xiaoheng's dirty deeds, Hong Xiu stopped calling me madam and switched to calling me miss. I smiled slightly. Your miss only has silver left anyway, giving it to them won't matter, Hong Xiu said indignantly. A whole family of shameless people, pa. Me. Rein in that cynical expression of yours. Don't cause trouble for me. Hong Xiu obediently replied, understood, miss. Arriving at the old madam's Ronghua courtyard, the old madam and her youngest daughter Pei Ruyu were chatting and laughing together. When they saw me enter, everyone stopped talking, and the room instantly fell silent. I acted completely oblivious to the awkwardness, smiled and greeted my mother-in-law, then ignored the disgust on Pei Ruyu's face and walked straight over to sit beside her. The old madam put on her mother-in-law airs and spoke first. Xiaoheng's wife, I called you here today because there is something I need to discuss with you. She paused after speaking, waiting for me to pick up the conversation. I obediently played along. Oh, did something happen? The old madam nodded with satisfaction and continued. The imperial edict has been issued. In 3 months, there will be a palace selection, and our Ruyu is also on the selection list. Pei Ruyu is Pei Xiaoheng's younger sister. With eyes above her head and an arrogant nature by birth, Xian ordinary men could hardly catch her eye. She was set on becoming the most noble woman, and for this year's imperial selection, she deliberately delayed betrothal talks until she was Shizi. In recent years, she'd been diligently studying music, chess, calligraphy, and painting just to enter the palace and serve the emperor, all to win His Majesty's exclusive favor, and be made an imperial consort to bring glory to the family. Of course I said what they wanted to hear. Ruyu has such stunning beauty and outstanding talent. I don't think any noble lady in the capital can compare. She'll definitely be chosen in this selection. The old madam rarely showed a smile, and she also felt what I said was true. Even so, Ruyu still needs several proper outfits for the palace selection. I'm leaving all this to you to handle. Be careful and don't make any mistakes that would ruin Ruyu's big opportunity. Leaving it to me means making me pay for her stuff. And if I buy anything unsatisfactory, I'll still get blamed. I feigned confusion, mother-in-law. I don't know what items need to be purchased or what specifications are required. The old madam said with a look of disdain. A merchant's daughter is indeed shallow and ignorant. I don't know why Xiaoheng chose you back then. Forget it, just follow Ruyu around Zhanxi picks, you pay. I still had doubts. Will this money come from the household account? Mother-in-law, you might not know, but a few days ago my husband took all the money from the account. Sister-in-law, why is it always money this and money that with you? You don't have a shred of dignity befitting a household's mistress. Hehe. Pei Xiaoheng's meager salary Zan I didn't know before, but now it seems it was all spent on Shenru. Now all the household expenses are supported entirely by my dowry. Don't they know? They do know. They make me pay up, yet won't let me have any say, constantly putting me down. The old madam also frowned in displeasure and began lecturing me. Xiaoheng's wife, you are now the Marchioness. Everything should prioritize the Marquis manner first. Put away all that petty small family mentality. She softened her tone and continued lecturing. Besides, if Ruyu gains favor in the palace later, would you and Xiaoheng lack for benefits? I seemed to be persuaded by her carrot-and-stick approach, and said respectfully, Mother-in-law is right. The old madam and Pei Ruyu were very satisfied with my obedience, and their attitude toward me improved. Before, I asked you to take a concubine for Xiaoheng, but you kept refusing. You young couple had good feelings for each other, so this old woman didn't meddle and make herself unwelcome. But now you're with child and can't serve Xiaoheng. Wouldn't refusing to take a concubine be wronging my son? Pei Ruyu, an unmarried sister-in-law, shouldn't have meddled in her brother and sister-in-law's bedroom matters. Yet she insisted on putting me down. That is right, sister-in-law, my brother is the Marquis. He can't possibly have only you as his woman. Your reputation as a jealous Marchioness has already spread throughout the capital. The old madam didn't think there was anything wrong with her daughter saying these things. Which madam of noble families doesn't arrange concubines for her husband early on? Yet, you still need me to remind you repeatedly, lest you ruin my Marquis Manor's reputation. The more she spoke, the angrier she became, eventually slamming the table. Peiruyu hurried to comfort her, seemingly speaking up for me. Mother, you can't blame sister-in-law for this. She was born from a humble family. How would she know these things? Her mother definitely never taught her either. I heard sister-in-law's mother never took any concubines for her father. As she said this, she covered her mouth and giggled. My parents were deeply in love as husband and wife. My father put my mother first in everything, so how could he possibly take a concubine and hurt their marital bond? In the past, the old madam had often demanded that I take concubines for my husband, but my husband rejected them all. At that time, my heart was filled with sweetness, feeling fortunate that I had found a good match just like my mother. Only now do I understand he was keeping himself pure for Shen Rao. Yet all of it was credited to me. Rest assured, mother-in-law, your daughter-in-law will definitely not do anything to disgrace the family tradition. Not taking concubines is disgracing the family tradition. Your family tradition is really twisted. I've been keeping an eye out for suitable candidates recently, planning to take 2 pleasing women as concubines to serve my husband. The old madam didn't expect me to be so compliant. The lecturing words she hadn't finished were forcibly swallowed back down. Peiruyu also didn't believe my sudden change. Are you serious? You're not just putting off my mother with empty words, are you? How could I now that I have a child? I'm already fulfilled. How would I dare monopolize my husband? I rubbed my belly with a face full of happiness. The old madam cast a disdainful glance at me, yet said, "Then put more effort into this matter, but don't rush it. The candidates must be carefully selected. Not just anyone can become a concubine of our Marquis Manor." Peiruyu's eyes lit up with an idea. How about having sister-in-law hold a flower appreciation banquet at the manor? Invite noble ladies from the capital, and then let brother personally select. Is she trying to imitate the emperor selecting consorts? What audacity! The old madam thought this was an excellent idea. Invite both concubine-born daughters and daughters of minor officials for Xiaoheng to look at. I had no objections and agreed to everything. Before leaving, I told Peiruyu that I had some nice jewelry, and asked her to come pick a few pieces when she was free this afternoon. She said disdainfully, "Don't think you can just dismiss me with a few tacky trinkets. Of course not. These are just for you to wear for fun." She forcibly suppressed the corners of her upturned lips and waved her hand dismissively. "I'll go if I have time this afternoon." Even so, I knew she would definitely come. The Marquis Manor appeared glamorous on the surface, but was actually deeply in debt. The old Marquis had passed away early, and such a large manor was only sustained by the Marquis stipend. Pei Xiaoheng didn't have a proper official position either. The old madam was quite capable though. During her time managing the household, she robbed Peter to pay Paul and barely maintained their outward glory. Simply put, they lacked nothing except money. This was also why they married me. Therefore, as soon as I married into the Marquis Manor, the old madam handed over the authority of managing the household to me. At first I thought I had gained the old madam's trust, but after checking the account books I realized I had inherited a total mess. But money is the one thing I'm not short of, and life at the Marquise's mansion gradually improved with the support of my dowry. Improving the meals, tipping the servants, jewelry for the masters. Even mansion repairs, I was paying for all of it. Peiruyu is just as hypocritical as her brother. The vulgar things she mentioned were luxuries she used to only dream of. Now that I'm offering to give them to her, how could she possibly refuse? As I expected, she came over right after lunch. Seeing her approach, I hurriedly hid the book in my hands behind my back. Seeing my guilty nothing to see here. Look, Peiruyu curiously tried to snatch it away. I pretended I couldn't resist, and she snatched the book right out of my hands. What is sister-in-law reading? Being all secretive, the domineering scholar fell for me. Her face instantly flushed red, and she threw the book on the ground as if it had burned her. I felt so distressed. I quickly picked it up and dusted off non-existent dirt like it was a treasure. Shameless. As expected from someone of humble origins, actually reading such lowbrow books, I showed no sign of shame and explained, "It is not as serious as you make it sound, little sister. It is just a storybook. The stories are really interesting and I read them to pass the time." So this is the kind of storybook Mother strictly forbids me from reading. Little sister, these are all romantic stories about talented scholars and beautiful ladies. You definitely wouldn't be interested. Saying that, I ignored her, opened the storybook, and started reading with great relish. What young girl doesn't dream of romance? Peiruyu's curiosity was piqued, and she tentatively asked, "What is written in there?" "It is about a noble family's young lady and a handsome scholar." At first, the young lady's parents didn't approve, but later the scholar passed the imperial exam as the top scorer. The more I talked, the more excited I got, my face glowing red. But I suddenly stopped mid-sentence. Actually, it is nothing special. You came to look at the jewelry, right? It is all here, come on." Saying that, I casually placed the storybook on the tea table and pulled Peiruyu by the hand toward the inner room. Peiruyu made a show of casually picking 2 items, and when leaving, demanded in a commanding tone to take the storybook as well. "Give me the storybook too." I pretended to look troubled. "That won't do. Unmarried young ladies shouldn't read this." "Cut the nonsense, just hand it over when I tell you to. Who do you think you are, trying to meddle in my affairs?" What could I do? I had no choice but to give it to her. During the following period, Peiruyu sent her maidservant to my courtyard every few days to ask for new storybooks. I just had so many storybooks. Things like The Top Scholar's Little Darling Wife, The Delicate Lady and the Handsome Scholar, Catching a Husband After the Exam, Dan, Where Can You Run, My Lord? Couldn't finish them all. Simply couldn't finish them all. After finishing dinner with Pei Xiaoheng, he once again brought over the pregnancy-stabilizing medicine, and I took the medicine bowl without hesitation and drank it all in one gulp. Seeing me obediently take the medicine, he gently stroked my belly and asked, "How have you been feeling lately? The baby hasn't been acting up, right?" Looking at his hypocritical face, I suppressed the urge to slap him and played along. "This pregnancy-stabilizing medicine is really good. I don't feel any discomfort now, even the morning sickness has stopped. Thank you, husband. No need to be so formal between us as husband and wife." As he spoke, he tried to put his arm around my shoulder. I couldn't help but push him away, and under his puzzled gaze, told him about tomorrow's flower viewing banquet. He asked in detail who I would invite. When he heard me say daughters of officials ranked 6th and above, his eyes instantly lit up. He must be really looking forward to Shenru coming to the Marquis Manor. I'm also looking forward to it. The flower viewing banquet was beautifully organized with my money power backing it. The noble ladies marveled at the Yao yellow and Wei purple peonies bought at great cost. The Marquis Manor's garden was a riot of colors, and the young ladies were all dressed luxuriously with rosy cheeks. For a moment, it was hard to tell who was more capable of attracting admirers. The old madam was very satisfied with this. With so many eligible young ladies, surely one could be selected as a concubine for her son. I looked around but didn't see any sign of Shenru. Could it be she didn't come? Just then, the bullet comments appeared and answered my question. Turns out Shenru was intercepted by Pei Xiaoheng as soon as she entered the manor and taken to a remote side room for a private meeting. It is the female lead's first time at the male lead's home, and he won't even let her look around properly. So impatient, the female supporting character is still in the garden picking a concubine for the male lead. Wasted effort. The male lead won't be interested in any of them. Oh my. The way the male lead looks at the female lead is so swoon-worthy. I can't help but smile like a doting auntie. The female lead dressed up specially, and the male lead's eyes are practically glued to her. Good, Shenru has already arrived, now I can relax. I kept a close eye on the bullet comments, and when they finally started making dirty jokes, I used the excuse of giving them a tour of the Marquis' residence to lead everyone toward the side chambers. Though Baibo Pool is secluded, The lotus flowers are in full bloom and the scenery is absolutely stunning. I introduced the place to the young ladies as we walked. Suddenly, a sharp-eared young lady spoke up in confusion. Why do I seem to hear someone crying? Crying, that intense. I almost couldn't hold back my laughter, pretending to be clueless while heading toward the sound with everyone. The bullet comments were still refreshing. What the hell? What could this distinguished VIP not be allowed to see? What the hell? Why is the villainess here? So many people showed up, will they be discovered? Though it is thrilling. Female lead, please keep your voice down a bit. Pei Xiaoheng never expected us to come to this remote side chamber. He had sent away all the attendants around him, so even though we were already standing at the door, he didn't even have anyone to warn him. Though they were all maidens, these noble ladies were all shrewd Zan. They all understood what those sounds meant. Hong Shu spoke up at the right moment. It must be some maid and manservant being indecent here. To avoid offending the young lady's eyes, please move to the garden to continue admiring the flowers. The young ladies around me all looked at each other, but no one was willing to leave. Such big gossip, a once-in-a-century occurrence for sheltered young ladies. Everyone wanted to join in the excitement. I glared with eyes wide open. Which servant is so bold? Today I shall punish them severely in front of everyone, lest people think our Marquis manor lacks strict discipline and tarnish our reputation. Saying this, I had the two attendants accompanying me kick open the door, then led everyone into the room. The two people who had been lost in their own world only now heard the commotion and hurriedly grabbed the blanket to cover themselves. Before they could react, Zizou stepped forward and yanked the blanket off, throwing it on the ground, revealing two stark white bodies. Shenru screamed in fright. Pei Xiaoheng was furious. He covered Shenru's face and roared at me. You despicable woman. How dare you? Get out of here immediately. The two frantically used the bedsheet to barely cover their bodies. Everyone recognized young Marquis Pei and gasped in shock. Wasn't he supposed to be deeply devoted to the Marchioness, never taking concubines? Yet here he was fornicating in broad daylight. So the rumors weren't true after all. Instantly, everyone's eyes looking at me filled with pity. Bullet comments scrolled frantically. Oh my god, they really got caught. Was this plot modified? The female supporting character didn't even know the male lead was having an affair before she died. But I have to say the female lead's figure is really good drooling. I seemed frozen in shock, unable to move, and only came back to my senses after a long while. Stammering and wailing, my husband. How could you treat me like this? Woo-woo, don't you know why I held this flower viewing banquet while pregnant? Why would you slap me in the face like this? As I spoke, I staggered a couple of steps and would have fallen if Hongshu and Zizou hadn't supported me on either side. My tears couldn't stop, like a flood pouring down. Oh no, I put too much chilly water on the handkerchief. Pei Xiaoheng gradually regained his senses and seeing me crying my heart out, he patiently consoled me. Yao, don't cry. Take everyone out first. Someone set me up in this matter. I'll explain it to you properly later. If he hadn't been tightly shielding the face of the woman in his arms to prevent anyone from seeing it, everyone might have believed his bullshit. I remained unmoved and continued pouring out my grievances. Since I entered your family's door, I've been filial to my in-laws and kind to my sister-in-law. What have I done wrong? I even used my own dowry to subsidize the Marquis manor. Now the manor's food, clothing, and expenses are all sustained by my dowry. How have I ever wronged you? When mother-in-law and I tried to arrange concubines for you, you refused. Yet today you're having an affair with someone. Could it be she is a brothel girl from the pleasure quarters, and you're afraid mother-in-law won't approve of her entering our household? As soon as I said this, everyone felt they'd figured out the truth and chimed in one after another. Exactly, if you like her, just bring her in and keep her. Why sneak around? What do you know? A wife is not as good as a concubine. A concubine is not as good as a stolen lover. How thrilling. There are quite a few young masters in the capital who've brought brothel girls into their homes. Some were also curious about the woman on the bed. Which brothel girl has such good tricks to have hooked young Marquis Pei? Indeed, look how smitten the young Marquis is. If she enters the manor, the Marchioness will have her hands full. There were also those commenting on the woman's body. No wonder the young Marquis likes her, that waist is so slim. And that skin so fair. Even I, a woman, like looking at it, eye candy, love to look more. A group of unmarried young ladies from noble families saw this scene, and not only weren't embarrassed, but could say such lewd words. Listening to everyone's comments, rage surged within me. I pointed at the woman on the bed and shouted, "I'm going to see today which vixen has bewitched you like this." Shenru's body trembled, and she pressed herself closer into Pei Xiaoheng's embrace. She was terrified. If she was recognized, her reputation would be completely ruined. Shenru pleaded to Pei Xiaoheng in a low voice. Don't let anyone see my face." Pei Xiaoheng had no time to comfort Shenru. He looked at me, a flash of murderous intent passing through his eyes. "Yao Yao, have you no shame? Must you air the Marquis Manor's dirty laundry in public? Take these people and get out now." I steeled myself and dabbed the handkerchief on my eyes again, crying and shouting with tears streaming. What face do I need? My husband has been stolen. Zissou, go drag this woman down. Let everyone see what kind of nation-toppling beauty could seduce the Marquis into such brazen daytime debauchery. Pei Xiaoheng held Shenru tightly and shouted, "If you dare come over, I'll divorce you." Before he finished speaking, Zissou stepped forward and grabbed Shenru's hair, dragging her out. Pei Xiaoheng was afraid of hurting her and didn't dare pull hard, accidentally letting Zissou drag her off the bed. Shenru bent over, covering her face, and screamed. But Zissou forcefully pulled her hands away, revealing her pale and terrified pretty face. She desperately pushed Zissou away, quickly fled back into Pei Xiaoheng's arms, crying bitterly and trembling. Someone recognized Shenru. "Oh my God, it is actually the official's young miss." The official's young miss? That can't be. Really, she is the young miss of the Shen family, the Sima of Zhengzhou. No way, no way, are you sure you didn't see wrong? I can't be wrong. I've seen her at banquets. I really couldn't tell she'd be this kind of person. Yeah, I've seen her too, she looks so soft and delicate. Didn't expect she plays so wild in private. Pei Xiaoheng had already lost his mind, holding Shenru, who was crying so hard she could barely breathe, and roared at me, "Yao Yao, you wicked woman, how dare you harm her like this? I will tear you to pieces." I was still crying and stammering, standing in place not knowing what to do. At this moment the old madam hurried over. Seeing this scene, she ordered the servants to quickly usher everyone out. She cried and begged the young misses not to spread this matter. They verbally agreed, but left excitedly one by one, eyes shining with excitement. The bullet comments were also buzzing with discussion. Did this turn into an abuse story? How can the female lead be bullied like this? Now the female lead's reputation is completely ruined. Let's see how the author is gonna fix this. How can this even be fixed? Unless the female lead can save the earth. After everyone left, the two on the bed had already dressed and walked out. Pei Xiaoheng held the sobbing Shenru, comforting her softly. Seeing the two come out, the old madam walked up furiously, grabbed her by the hair and yanked her out of Pei Xiaoheng's arms. Catching them off guard, she slapped Shenru's face hard from both sides. "You wretched woman, you've ruined my son, and you've brought utter disgrace upon our Marquis's family." Pei Xiaoheng felt sorry for what Shenru went through today, and seeing her being hit, he hurriedly shielded her behind him. The old madam was so angry she clutched her chest. "You're still protecting her." Pei Xiaoheng felt sorry for Shenru, but didn't dare vent his anger at the old madam, so he could only direct his attack at me. "Yao Yao, is this your doing? Are you satisfied now that our reputation is ruined?" "You guessed right, it was me, but I'm not going to admit it." The tears in my eyes hadn't dried yet, and now I looked at him in disbelief and cried, "Is that the kind of person I am in your eyes? To take a concubine for you? This flower-viewing banquet was proposed by mother-in-law and sister. I even mentioned this to you yesterday, there is no way you didn't know. You say I'm playing tricks, Jan. Did I hold a knife to your neck and force you to sleep with her?" Pei Xiaoheng also didn't think I had such scheming. but still stiffened his neck and accused me. Then why did you lead everyone to such a secluded place? We wanted to see the lotus flowers blooming in this Bibo pool, and we heard you from far away. At this point I really couldn't continue, and stopped to keep wiping my tears. The old madam helplessly closed her eyes for a moment, making up her mind. Since things have come to this, just bring Shenru into the manor as a proper concubine. Upon hearing this, Shenru stopped hiding, stepped out from behind Pei Xiaoheng, and said resolutely, I won't be a concubine. The laws of this dynasty stipulate that a concubine cannot be elevated to wife. How could Pei Xiaoheng bear to let her be a concubine for life? Mother, you can't. Didn't we agree? His unguarded words met the old madam's warning gaze, and only then did he realize I was still beside them. Your wife's pregnancy is only 6 months along, and so many people saw the scandal between you two. What do you think Shen Rao can do besides becoming your concubine? That is right. If Shen Rao returns to the Shen Manor now, her parents might just hang her with a white silk. Probably because the words to persuade those two weren't suitable for me to hear. The old madam used the excuse that today was tiring and sent me back to rest. I couldn't ask for more Zan after all. Acting is exhausting too, and the chilly water made my eyes sting painfully. I hurried back to wash up properly. In the end, Shenru still agreed to become a concubine. The bullet comments told me that Pei Xiaoheng promised her that after I die, he won't take any more concubines, and will only stay devoted to her alone. Whether as a wife or a concubine, her place in his heart would never change. That very day, Shenru moved into Pei Xiaoheng's Suju courtyard. Father Shen, fearing she would disgrace the family name, sent a letter of disownment, refusing to recognize Shenru as a daughter of the Shen family from then on. Naturally, Shenru cried her heart out again. After consoling Shenru, Pei Xiaoheng stormed toward my courtyard in a fury. Pei Ruyu followed along with her brother. He kicked open my bedroom door. Yao Yao, get your ass out here. Pei Ruyu wore an expression of someone ready to enjoy a good show. Barely suppressing her excitement, a lowly merchant's daughter had dared to be her sister-in-law for so long. Zan today, she finally had the chance to teach her a lesson. I had expected him to come, and was lying sickly in bed drinking pregnancy-stabilizing medicine. Seeing Pei Xiaoheng's displeased expression, Hong Shu hurried forward to persuade him. My lord, our young miss was upset today, and it disturbed her pregnancy. She is drinking medicine to stabilize it. Could you perhaps come back later? Get lost. Pei Ruyu shoved the obstructing Hong Shu aside, disturbed her pregnancy. My ass Dan Shi is probably just too scared to face my brother. Pei Xiaoheng clearly thought the same. He rushed up to me, snatched the medicine bowl from my hands, and smashed it hard onto the ground. Cut the damn act. You think this will make me let you off? Exactly, sister-in-law, you went way too far today. How is Sister Ru supposed to show her face in public from now on? Pei Ruyu was first-rate at fanning the flames. Pei Xiaoheng became even more furious. He raised his palm to slap me. Zhisu and Hongsu hurried forward to stop him, preventing that slap from landing on my face. My lord, you mustn't. Our miss has just had her pregnancy disturbed. She absolutely cannot be stimulated again. How dare these lowly wenches touch me? The Marquis, guards, dragged these two maids out and whipped them. But unexpectedly no one obeyed his orders. I raised my swollen from crying eyes and stammered, Husband, what are you trying to do? You mess around with other women and want to blame it on me. Pei Ruyu had a look of disapproval on her face. Sister-in-law, what you said is wrong. Which man doesn't have 3 wives and 4 concubines? Only you are so petty. Where is any bearing of a proper main wife? A merchant's daughter really can't be presentable. I truly regret marrying you. These 2 siblings had tongues like they were dipped in poison. If it were an ordinary pregnant woman, she'd probably be angered to death along with her baby. Since I married into the Marquis manor, how many times have I offered to take concubines for you, husband? It was you yourself who refused, and now you're blaming it all on me. I covered my face and wept bitterly, looking utterly heartbroken. You're acting wronged now. Pei Ruyu saw me crying again, her face full of disdain. The one who should be crying is Ruer. Do you know Ruer's reputation has been completely ruined by you? For a girl to have such a thing happen, it is worse than killing her. You can do shameful things, but others can't talk about it. Now you care about face, where was that earlier? What about my reputation? Starting today, I've become a laughing stock among the madams and young ladies. Have you ever considered that? Seeing Pei Xiaoheng hesitate, Pei Ruyu spoke up. You deserve it. Pei Xiaoheng came to his senses whether you did it on purpose today or not. You have to go kowtow to Ruer and admit your mistake. Then go post a notice at the city gate, telling everyone that today's incident was all your scheme to frame her. Kowtow and admit my mistake. Post a notice. Dream on. Seeing that I didn't react, Pei Xiaoheng thought I didn't understand. I'll write the content of the notice for you later, you just need to copy it. Pei Ruyu kindly offered a suggestion. Just write that you were jealous of Sister Ru, drugged her and brought people to watch. Framing her. That way Sister Ru becomes the victim, and everyone will only sympathize with her. I knew they were shameless, but I didn't expect them to be this shameless. I really couldn't hold it in anymore. I grabbed anything I could get my hands on and threw it at them, screaming loudly while doing so. Make me kowtow to that vixen, in your dreams. The brother and sister were so scared they kept backing away. You've gone crazy, ouch. Get out. Worst case, I'll just die. Let's all die together. My crazed appearance scared the two of them, and perhaps they were also afraid that hurting the baby in my belly would make all their efforts go to waste. In the end, the two of them still left in a huff. It is true that the soft fear the tough fear the ruthless, and the ruthless fear those who don't value their own lives. Before leaving, Pei Xiaoheng was still making harsh threats. If you don't go apologize, don't even think about me stepping foot in your courtyard again. Sure enough, ever since Shen Rao entered the manor, Pei Xiaoheng stubbornly refused to enter my courtyard as if throwing a tantrum. I was already pregnant, and had taken that poison that would cause difficult childbirth. In his eyes, I was already as good as dead. He demanded that the servants respectfully address Shen Ru as Madame Ru. He also warned everyone that Madame Ru was equal to the Marquise's wife in his eyes, and anyone who dared to slight Madame Ru would be sold off immediately. Hongxiu grumbled discontentedly. Miss, you're too kind. Those adulterous couple are practically walking all over you, and you're not going to do anything about it. At this moment, I was going through the accounts, filling the huge financial hole in the Marquis manor this month. Zissou also didn't understand. Exactly. Not making a fuss is one thing. But you're still shelling out money for this bunch of scum in the manor. I smiled indifferently. It is fine, no matter how they act. This manor needs to be managed properly. The people watching Pei Ruyu discovered that she had recently been in close contact with a scholar who came to the capital for the imperial examinations. Not only were they exchanging letters, they were even secretly meeting frequently. Finally one day, she came to me and said bossily, Mother told you to take me to buy outfits for entering the palace. I've already made my selections, just give me the money directly. She asked for money so shamelessly. I asked with concern what items she had chosen, but she looked at me sideways and told me to mind my own business. Just hand over the money. Sister is so well informed. Whatever you pick is naturally the best. How much silver do you need? Sister-in-law will get it for you. Yuan noun. Pei Ruyu said this without blushing or her heart skipping a beat. 10,000 taels of silver Zan Pei Xiaoheng's lifetime salary wouldn't even amount to that much. Yet she had the nerve to say it. I agreed without even blinking and immediately sent someone to the money house to get banknotes for her. After getting the banknotes, she gave me a consider yourself sensible look and floated away smugly. The next morning, something big happened in the Marquise's manor. Zan Miss Pei Ruyu had disappeared. They couldn't find her anywhere in the entire manor, only discovering a letter on her vanity case. The letter read, Dear Mother, your unfilial daughter Ruyu has secretly pledged her heart to Fan Lang, unable to restrain these feelings. However, with the palace selection approaching, Ruyu cannot bear to betray Fan Lang's deep affection. Today I bid farewell through tears, hoping mother and brother will take care of yourselves. Do not worry about me. The old madam finished reading the letter with trembling hands, her face full of disbelief. Her daughter had actually eloped with someone, and she hadn't noticed anything at all. She was furious. Her pampered and treasured daughter had willingly degraded herself, actually doing something so scandalous for a man. The selection was coming up soon. If her daughter eloped now and the royal family found out, it would be the grave crime of deceiving the emperor. But she was indeed a matriarch raised by a great family, and quickly calmed down. First, she warned the servants in the manor not to leak anything about this morning's events, or they would be beaten to death on the spot. Then they interrogated the two personal maids by Peiruyu's side. The two were already trembling with fear, and confessed everything without the old madam needing to use family punishment. The man was called Sun Yifan, said to be a scholar from Bianzhou, who came to take the imperial examinations. He and Peiruyu fell in love at first sight at a temple fair. And after that the two often secretly met outside the manor. Yesterday she got the banknotes from me, and eloped with the scholar under the cover of night. Supposedly they were going to the scholar's hometown in Bianzhou, to play the chin and sip tea by day, chat by lamplight at night. Just the two of them for a lifetime. The old madam immediately sent people to secretly search in the direction of Bianzhou. She swore that once she found her daughter and brought her back, she would definitely kill that man called Sun Yifan. Did you instigate Ruyu's leaving home? Pei Xiaoheng didn't manage to hit me last time, and had been holding a grudge, looking for any chance to make trouble for me. I seemed not to have expected him to say this. My face full of disbelief. Why would my husband say such a thing? How could this matter have anything to do with me? He stared intently into my eyes as if trying to see through my disguise. Nothing to do with you. Then why did you give her money yesterday, and such a huge amount at that? Indeed, madam, if not for this sum of money, younger sister would never have eloped with someone. Where did younger sister go? Please tell mother-in-law quickly. Don't let the elderly lady worry herself sick. Shen Ru was as soft as her name suggested, speaking gently and softly, like a breeze brushing the face. Yet the content of her words was like buckets of dirty water being splashed on me. I acted as if startled by her words and hurriedly explained. I really didn't know. How could I possibly instigate my sister-in-law to elope? That is too absurd. Then why did you give her such a large sum of silver yesterday? My sister was momentarily confused and deceived by love. But in reality, parents' orders and matchmakers' words are what matter. You helped her hide it, which is actually harming her. She herself had an affair with a man before marriage, yet now she could shamelessly say such things. Of course I couldn't admit it. Mother-in-law, this silver was given because you told me to give it to my sister-in-law. I looked at the old madam pitifully. The old madam seemed to think of something, but turned her head away without speaking up for me. How dare you casually drag mother into this? Pei Xiaoheng grabbed my collar and yanked me up. His threatening expression plain to see completely without his previous gentle attentiveness. Hongxiu and Zixu beside me hurriedly stepped forward to support me. Husband, are you going to lay hands on me regardless of my 9-month pregnant belly? Pei Xiaoheng thought of their plan and forcibly suppressed the urge to hit me. I explained the situation. Mother-in-law asked me to buy my sister-in-law several sets of outfits for entering the palace. Yesterday my sister-in-law came to my courtyard saying she had made her selections and asked me for the silver. How could I not give it? Mother-in-law, you know about this. 10,000 taels, just given like that. A jealous gleam flashed in Shenru's eyes. Comments appeared again. This didn't seem to happen, right? Didn't the male lead's sister become the emperor's favored consort? Yeah, how did she end up eloping with someone? The female lead doesn't need to be jealous. Once the female supporting character dies, all her money will be yours. Haha. The male lead thinks so too. The old madam finally spoke. All right, stop arguing. Xiaoheng's wife, although I was the one who told you to give the silver, you still can't escape responsibility for this matter. Your father has many trading companies, have him put in more effort to search. I naturally agreed repeatedly. Half a month passed in a row, and as the selection date drew nearer, Not a trace of Peiruyu was found. The maidservant only knew it was Bianzhou, but didn't know the specific location, and they couldn't search openly. They wanted to make things difficult for me, but were wary of the child in my belly. In the end, the Marquis Manor had no choice but to give up on this daughter. One night, a fire broke out at the Dian Marquis Manor. The fire at the young Mrs. Tingyu Pavilion was too fierce. The servants couldn't put it out in time, and the eldest Miss Peiruyu perished in the flames. The old madam cried until she fainted several times from grief, and beat to death the maidservant beside the young miss who failed to protect her. With such a big incident in the manor, no one had time to give me trouble. And my days were quite pleasant. I was already at full term and would go into labor soon. The person sent to tail Pei Xiaoheng came to report that Pei Xiaoheng and Shenrou took a carriage together to the mountains for a spring outing. I felt deeply that the time had come, and immediately dispatched the assassins I had long prepared. Soon, Pei Xiaoheng was carried back to the Marquis Manor covered in blood. The bullet comments before my eyes went crazy. The plot has completely collapsed. Can the male lead even survive? If I didn't see wrong, just now a bandit kicked the male lead's little bell hard. It won't be crushed. Right. Now the male lead might be infertile, and the female lead happens to be barren too. A perfect match. I watched the bullet comments with great interest, drank the labor-inducing medicine, and calmly waited for the servants to come report this matter to me. Madam, the young Marquis encountered bandits causing trouble on the mountain and was seriously injured. The old madam wants you to hurry over and bring the 1,000-year ginseng from your dowry. The one who came was Mama Lu from the old madam's side. I was extremely alarmed, grabbed Mama Lu's hand, and asked anxiously, "What did you say? My husband encountered bandits. How is he?" Mama Lu impatiently pulled me to walk outside. "Hurry up, madam. The young Marquise's life is hanging by a thread right now, waiting for your ginseng to save his life." I pretended my ankle twisted from being pulled by Mama Lu, and sat on the ground, then held my belly, breaking out in cold sweat from the pain. This wasn't an act. The labor-inducing medicine had taken effect. Contractions had started, and it really hurt. Mama Lu thought she had pulled me down, so scared she didn't dare move. Just stood there frozen, mouth moving non-stop saying, "It wasn't me. I didn't use force, Aya. Madam, why are you so careless?" I put on an appearance of only thinking about my husband, and gave orders while enduring the pain. "Hongsu, quickly go get the ginseng for Mama Liu. I might be going into labor and can't go see my husband." Mama Liu came to her senses and hurriedly said, "Madam was shocked by the young Marquis' ordeal, now she is going into labor. But over there." Zissou helped me sit on the bed. The contractions hit, and I gritted my teeth to endure it. "Damn you, Pei Xiaoheng. Giving birth is already this hard, and you still want my life. You deserve what you got today." After this contraction passed, I told Mama Liu with a deathly pale face, "My husband's health is important, Mama Liu. Tell mother-in-law not to worry about me. Just focus on treating my husband properly." Mama Liu nodded in agreement, took the ginseng and hurried away. Hongshu and Zishu looked at me worriedly. Childbirth is truly dangerous. No one can guarantee safety. If I had seen Pei Xiaoheng's true colors earlier, I wouldn't have gotten pregnant no matter what. Now the arrow is on the string and must be released. I can only gamble on it. Fortunately, everything was prepared. The midwife was on standby at all times. Pain like bones being torn apart. I had no time to care about anything else, only vaguely hearing Hongshu's sobbing, Zisu's shouting, and the busy figures of the midwives. I don't know how long passed. I felt a boulder rushing through with the tide. Suddenly felt my lower body relax, followed by the loud cry of a baby. "It is born." My heart finally completely relaxed, and then I lost consciousness and fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up, it was already the next day. Hongxiu and Zissou excitedly held the baby to show me. As the bullet comments said before, it was a baby boy. The baby was well taken care of while I was in deep sleep. Unlike other newborns who are all wrinkly, this one was fair and tender, sleeping soundly in the swaddling clothes. My maternal instincts surged. Holding this hard-won child, my heart was about to melt into a puddle. The bullet comments scrolled weakly. The female supporting character didn't die. This plot doesn't make sense. Over there, the male lead is half dead. Over here, the female supporting character gives birth smoothly. What the heck is the author doing? The plot has collapsed. I've decided to drop this. Bros, see you around. I want to see just how badly the plot can collapse. I like watching this. A satisfying drama where the female supporting character transforms and rises to abuse the scumbags. Hong Siu told me that after a whole night of treatment yesterday, Pei Xiaoheng was out of life-threatening danger. But both his legs were broken. The leg muscles had necrotized, and they had no choice but to amputate. Now he has become a cripple who can only lie in bed. Also, his 2 balls were stomped and crushed by the mountain bandits, so he can't perform sexually anymore. Pretty much as I expected. So now my child is the only heir of the Marquis Manor. I took proper care of myself during pregnancy, no one caused trouble during delivery. And after a night's rest, I can now move around normally. I ordered the servants to prepare a sedan chair and came to Pei Xiaoheng's Suju courtyard. I had to see his fate with my own eyes. Husband, wearing a forehead band. Cradling the baby in my arms, I ran crying into the inner room. By the bedside, the old madam looked haggard with red and swollen eyes, wiping her tears while looking at her son. She never expected that in just a few months, her pair of children and her daughter had eloped with someone, and her son had become a cripple. What sins had she committed to deserve such a calamity? This was harder to bear than being killed. Only when the old madam saw me holding the child did she realize she had a grandchild. As if seeing hope, her eyes instantly lit up. Xiaoheng's wife, is this the child you gave birth to last night? A boy or a girl? Mama Liu had told her I was about to give birth, but her mind was entirely on her son, and she hadn't been able to attend to anything else all night. She hadn't sent anyone to ask either, so she knew nothing until now. It is a boy. Hearing my answer, my mother-in-law burst into tears, continuously murmuring, "Ancestors bless us. Ancestors bless us." I rushed to Pei Xiaoheng's bedside holding the child, crying out, "Husband, how are you? Look at our child." Pei Xiaoheng's face was ashen with despair. Seeing me come, he turned his head away and ignored me completely. "All right, Xiaoheng's wife, don't scare the child." The birth of her grandson seemed to give the old madam a shot of adrenaline. She seemed to come alive again. At this moment, a servant came in to report that all 18 mountain bandits had been captured and brought to justice. According to the bandits' confession, they saw the Marquis Manor's carriage was lavish and unguarded by servants. They originally intended to rob some money, but upon seeing Shenrob's beauty, they also wanted to take liberties with her. Young Marquis P played hero to save the beauty and refused to let them succeed. He offended the bandit leader and was beaten to a cripple by over a dozen bandits. Yet Shenru was completely unharmed. Hearing that her son had suffered this disaster because of that jinx Shenru, the old madam was filled with hatred. Xiaoheng is what they said true. Because of Shenru, Pei Xiaoheng had already lost all hope. Zan, what woman, what true love, none of it mattered compared to his own life and future. He seemed unable to hear the old madam's questions, sitting there lifeless and motionless. Seeing her son not responding, the old madam ordered the servants to summon Shenru. When Shenru was brought over, she wouldn't answer any questions, just covering her mouth and sobbing. The old madam was furious and personally went up and slapped her across the face several times. This time without Pei Xiaoheng's interference, Shenru could only let the old madam beat and scold her. "Heng Lang, save me." Unable to bear the beating, Shenru rushed to the bedside begging Pei Xiaoheng for protection, but Pei Xiaoheng just coldly shook off her hand, showing no further reaction. The old madam, as if gone mad, dragged her back out and continued beating her. Seeing the old madam's crazed state, no one dared to speak up and stop her. Suddenly, the old madam stopped, clutched her chest, and collapsed straight down. "Doctor, quickly call the doctor in." Another round of chaos ensued. But fortunately, the doctor was waiting right at the door. After the doctor's examination, the old Madame Zan, heartbroken over her children's successive misfortunes, Dan had suffered a stroke. The bullet comments had become sparse. All right, I'm certain now, the female supporting character won. Bad review. It is different from the preview. I'm gonna send razor blades to the author. It is fine. I never liked the male lead anyway. He is such a scumbag, doesn't he deserve this? Exactly. Watching it as a supporting female's revenge drama isn't bad either. Everyone pities me for just having given birth, with a disabled husband, a mother-in-law who had a stroke, and no one to manage the household. Who would have guessed I'm actually living the good life like an immortal? Now no one can threaten my position. Aren't Shenru and Pei Xiaoheng supposed to be true love? Perfect timing, he needs someone to take meticulous care of him. I arranged for Shenru to look after Pei Xiaoheng around the clock, whether it is feeding him, wiping his body, or washing shit-stained sheets. All done by her own hands. Pei Xiaoheng became irritable and short-tempered because of his disability, cursing people at the drop of a hat, and even throwing medicine bowls at Shenru, who was taking care of him. Shenru didn't last 3 days before running away. Supposedly, she fled back to the Shen family, begged for forgiveness while crying her eyes out, and was then sent by her father to become the 12th concubine of some pot-bellied greasy superior. Pei Xiaoheng wasn't the least bit surprised when he heard about this. After these 3 days of her care, he figured this would happen. Aren't you curious? You fed me poison for a whole month. How did I still manage to safely give birth to the child? Pei Xiaoheng finally reacted, turning his head to look at me in shock and fear. You actually knew, he said in a hoarse voice. Yeah, I knew, but you're still fine. You switched the medicine. Of course I switched it. After all, it is not like I wanted to die. He thought for a moment, then asked in a gloomy voice. Were those bandits hired by you? Are you trying to get revenge on me? I smiled mysteriously. Look at this marquee manner, Zan, your sister ran off. You're crippled. Your mother had a stroke. Could it be you've all done too many wicked things? Pei Xiaoheng glared at me with eyes wide in fury, wanting to come forward and kill me, but could only helplessly slap at the bedside. You wretched woman. Don't be so arrogant. I am the true mistress of this marquise's mansion. I will kill you. Look at yourself now, Zan, what are you going to kill me with? I continued to twist the knife. I pay for all the expenses in the manor. All the servants work for me. What can a cripple like you do? He grabbed the pillow beside him and threw it at me, but I easily dodged it. Vile woman, you plot against your own husband and disrespect your mother-in-law, Zan, you'll die a horrible death. I quite enjoyed watching him rage helplessly, so I added more fuel to the fire. Do you know where your sister is now? Pei Xiaoheng froze, looking at me in disbelief. You're behind what happened to Ruyu too. I covered my mouth and chuckled. After holding it in for so long, I could finally say it. That Sun Yifan was someone I specifically found for her, Zan, quite a big deal. Cost me a lot of effort. You're only searching toward Bianzhou. You'll definitely never find them. He is a famous gigolo in Jiangnan, with countless tricks to seduce women. So many rich women have been seduced by him to the point of sleepless nights. Let alone your sister Zan, an innocent young lady from the inner chambers. Where was Ruyu tricked into going? He asked through gritted teeth. She has probably been sold to a brothel by now. But don't worry about her, Zan, she is both talented and beautiful. If she knows what is good for her, she should be able to live quite well. The bullet comments appeared again. Ah, the future favored consort was actually sold. The female supporting character's move is too ruthless. The marquise's household tried to steal a chicken but ended up losing the rice. Somehow feels kinda satisfying. Pei Xiaoheng unconsciously shed tears. How can you be so vicious? I'm going to divorce you, husband. Stop saying foolish things. Now that both you and mother-in-law have collapsed, there is no one to manage the household. How could I possibly leave the marquise's residence? I'll take good care of the marquise's household and raise our son to inherit your title. Don't you dare. I'll kill you. I'm going to kill you. The old madam lay on the bed with her mouth crooked and eyes askew. Mama Liu, eyes red, wiped away the drool she couldn't control. After learning of her daughter's fate, her stroke became even more severe. Now she could only eat liquid food, and even that would dribble out from the corners of her mouth. Despite such a severe stroke, when she saw me, she could still glare and make raspy wheezing sounds. Looks like I really am quite hated, but I just want to make things worse for them. Even knowing I'm hated, I still go visit my husband and mother-in-law on schedule every day. Dressed up all glamorously, chatting with them, savoring their expressions of hating me yet being unable to kill me. The bullet comments haven't appeared for a long time now. My life still has to go on. My future is still bright.